Hey guys, how's it going? It's Philip with Trade Genius. On this video, I wanted to talk about Bancor, Bancor. Essentially, what the Bancor protocol is, and it's a token, but it's a new standard for smart tokens, which are basically a way to have a decentralized exchange. So you can basically swap from one token, one Ethereum token to another. So instead of having to, on centralized exchanges, you usually are basically trading from an Ethereum to a token, or from Bitcoin to a token. So for example, if you were to look at a token like OMG, for example, you have an OMG Ethereum pair or an OMG Bitcoin pair. Well, with this protocol, you can go from, like, say, a OMG token to another ERC20 token, like Storm, for example. So you can create these cross tradable pairs, and you can do it without a centralized exchange by smart contracts. So basically, the protocol uses what they would call a connector token, and that is like the smart contract, and that's going to establish a formula for setting the price. And so it's directly converting on chain. There's no counterparty risk because it is a decentralized exchange. So it's just a smart contract between two parties. So you're not sending anything to a centralized exchange, which has its own risk, versus just having a smart contract. And so basically, as long as a token, now not every token is compatible yet with the Bancor network, although anyone could enable it. So if any of these tokens that are out there, they could enable the Bancor protocol. It's compatible with all ERC20 tokens. But so there's same buy sell. There's no spread. So sometimes you'll have on centralized exchanges, traditional exchanges, you might have a spread between the bid and ask, whereas this doesn't have that. So this all revolves around the Bancor network token, kind of, and that's what I'm going to look at on a technical basis here in a second. But that's kind of like the hub for this network. Okay, so Bancor, basically in a nutshell, without getting too technical, is a decentralized type of exchange, and they have a pretty straightforward interface, which we can look at right here. If you notice, you just have their different, I think they've got 13 tokens now. Yeah, so these are all of the tokens that have enabled the Bancor protocol. And so you literally can switch. I mean, you could take you could use the Bancor protocol token and switch it out for OMG, or you could take OMG and swap it out for Kin. So you could have an OMG Kin cross. And traditionally you're either looking at converting to, like, if you wanted to get out of OMG and get into Kin, for example, you'd have to sell your OMG for Ethereum or BTC on an exchange that carried OMG, and then go from the BTC to Kin. Whereas now you can kind of skip all the fees, and do that directly. So again, this is the future of what exchanges are going to be. And so I thought I would just point out that Bancor is doing that, and that it's a token that is doing something. There's a lot of ERC20 tokens out there that are just not doing a lot. They're a concept, and there's a lot of market cap associated with it, but tend to want to look at the ones that are actually doing something. They also have some pretty strategic partnerships, and they have a really strong team too. So I think it's one to keep on the radar. Now, technically speaking, if you look at Bancor on a daily chart, like a lot of alts that we're seeing, we've put in a bottom, and we've got this nice uptrend going. So the risk here again is if Bitcoin takes off and does a major rager, you're going to see some pullbacks in these alts. So there's a couple ways to play it. One is you're going to assume that this trend is going to stay intact for the time being. So if that's the case, you're kind of looking at this trend line to buy in. So you'd be looking at this, excuse me here, hit the wrong button. You'd be looking at this level here of approximately 38,000 Satoshi or so. But one thing I wanted to note for you guys is on the 4-hour, we've got a bearish divergence here where the RSI is not making a new high with price. So that would indicate that we are due for a pullback. So this would be an area that I'd be looking at for possibly a buy. And if you look at volume in this area, you're going to see a lot of volume support relative to this price right in this area here. So, I think this is a good spot if you're looking to catch a bounce. Would be in this 38,000 area, possibly 39, right in there, and for a bounce. Now, if there's a larger pullback, if there's a consolidation and Bitcoin takes off, which I don't think is going to happen quite just yet, then you'd be looking down here in this area, somewhere between 3,000 and 32,000 Satoshi in this area here. So just something to keep an eye on, guys. I think Bancor is one of those that actually is going to do something. We do have kind of a resistance level here at 51,000 Satoshi, so you might look at that. That's also close to where we have a fib extension. And as you can see, relative to the price in here, we do have kind of a price volume void, so that would allow price to run up into this level a little easier. So yeah, if there's a pullback in this area that we can grab, we definitely want to take a look at a swing trade there on Bancor. So just wanted to point that one out to you guys. So I like to look for ones that have that are doing something and actually have some value associated with them, and make them worthy of getting in and swing trading. I think on a larger pullback, if you get some of these coins on a larger pullback, definitely might be worth a longer term hold. Because I think 2018 you are going to see quite a bit of appreciation. You just have to stay on top of these projects and make sure that they're progressing along and not just withering away. All right, so with that being said, real quick, we'll take a look at Bitcoin, the big dog, and we'll just look at the daily. We still haven't had a daily long fire yet, so we're still working off of the last exit signal back here. And basically, we were kind of embedded here on the stochastic RSI, finally coming out of that. But again, more chop, and again, I don't think we're really going to see much of anything outside of this range until we get until we get out of the this, either get above this 16,200 or we start breaking below this prior low here. But I think we're going to be somewhat contained in here for at least another week, and then break out of that. And now I showed you guys the magic channel on the last video. We can definitely take a look at that. We're definitely seeing a consolidation. The channel is getting a little bit narrower. As you can see, about 16,000 to 13,200 is the up and down range. And again, this is based on standard deviations of the relative range. So essentially any moves toward these levels would basically, you're operating on basically a chop protocol. So you'd be looking to fade. If it goes up here, looking to get short, down at this level, looking to get long. And I think that continues for at least another week. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much it. So Bancor, take a look at that. I think that might be worth your while. And Bitcoin, continued chop. Until the next video, guys, take care. Please hit the subscribe button. That really helps us out. Thanks for watching. Bye.